Telling the just story.
IPF. Telling the just story.
IPF.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Comrade Uzo Boston, the National President, Ijaw Publishers Forum. We are here today for a World Press Conference over disagreements among ex-agitators, strategic key stakeholders on pipeline surveillance contracts in the Niger Delta region. The attention of the Ijaw Publishers Forum, IPF, has been drawn to the recent distractions, holocaust, and misdirections of focus in the struggle for self-determination and justice for the oppressed people of the Niger Delta region. As an intellectual arm of the Ijaw struggle, we are worried that key players in the struggle are loggerheads over a mere pipeline contract. We have experienced it several times, where people who do not even have a drop of oil in their states and communities handle such contracts in the Niger Delta without controversy, without blackmail, without calls for decentralization of threats. As key stakeholders and leaders, we urge all concerned to look beyond oil pipeline surveillance contracts and focus on pressuring the federal government to address real issues affecting the region. Despite being the hub of the Nigerian oil production, the Niger Delta remains underdeveloped, with its resources exploited without measurable or commensurate benefits to the local population. It is disheartening that key actors in the Niger Delta have abandoned the core demands of environmental justice, resource control, self-determination, and the implementation of the National Conference report convened under President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan administration. The current focus on the Tantita Security Service Nigeria Limited contract is misplaced and distraction from these fundamental issues. Yeah. Tantita is not the problem, and neither is Tompolo. The gains from Tantita participation in the pipeline surveillance are enormous and visible, including job creation, a significant increase in daily oil production, improved security, and visible commitment to service. We appeal to aggrieved stakeholders that this contract should not be treated as a central issue in Niger Delta. However, our attention should instead be directed towards critical demands, such as the relocation of international oil companies' operational headquarters to the Niger Delta, allocation of oil wells to indigenous of Niger Delta, creation of additional states, and the rebuilding of communities affected by conflicts, amongst others.
IPF. Telling the just story.
It is also important to note that pipeline surveillance is not exclusive to Tantita. Other private security firms are engaged under the current arrangement, and the work is already shared across various stakeholders and regions. This reflects an existing level of decentralization. Sadly, we don't talk about others handling the surveillance contract, but Tompolo becomes our focus of attacks at all times. We wish to state that this is not good for our collective unity, struggle, and development.
IPF. Telling the just story.
It is our candid advice that as leaders and stakeholders, we should learn to settle our differences or misunderstanding in-house and not in the media space. It doesn't tell good about us as a people. We cannot achieve our struggles if leaders and stakeholders continue to fight among themselves. Let's stop the pulling down syndrome among ourselves. This is an act that leaders won't condone if they found the younger ones involved in it. An injury to one is an injury to all. Let love lead among Ijaw and Niger Delta leaders and youths. Going forward, let's abide by this humble advice. The reality remains that the Niger Delta is rich in oil and gas resources, yet its people continue to face poverty, neglect, and environmental degradation. Oil exploration has caused several or severe damage to the ecosystem and undermined traditional livelihoods. It is time for the people of Niger Delta to demand for more from the Nigerian government. It is not wrong while some stakeholders are handling or taking charge of pipeline contracts, others handle oil blocks, oil pipeline laying contracts, and oil drilling operation contracts in the Niger Delta region. We have extremely deviated and need redirection.
IPF,
Telling the
just story.
We therefore call on the federal government and the international oil companies to take responsibility by addressing environmental damage, compensating affected communities, and investing meaningfully in the development of the region. We urge all stakeholders, including government officials, traditional rulers, and community representatives, to rise above internal disputes and focus on achieving lasting solutions. The wealth of the Niger Delta benefits its people. The future of the region depends on it. Thank you, and God bless you.
IPF,
Telling the just story.
telling the just story.
IPF.
Telling the just story.
Thank you very much for that question. My name is Tari Magbe. I'm the Secretary General of the Regional Operations Forum. And Star Security Services have come to quell that distress to a very great level, but that continues to be the order of the day. Another salient issue that we have not addressed as a people, or that we are almost deviating from, is the fact that our major fight, agitation, revolved and continue to revolve around self-determination and resource control. We want to control our resources. If there is oil in my backyard, even if not the Niger Delta region, each and every one of us have, at any one point of the time or the other, stood for our general well-being. Hence, they are the people at the forefront. Our recommendation today is that while pipeline surveillance is an aspect of what we stand to gain, there is also oil block owning that they can fight for. There is also the laying of oil pipelines. It's also another contract that they can bid for. Another bidding round is coming. These stakeholders can come together, put heads together, put minds together, put funds together, and seek to own the oil blocks that are in our backyard. We have always agitated because towing the path of dialogue is where we've stood for a very long time, and that is where we continue to stand. We will continue to ask, even in the press statement it was stated, the federal government, the government of the day, should pay heed to these recommendations, that until appropriate action is taken in the line of resource control and self-determination, some of these issues will continue to be an issue for even the development of the Nigerian state. If the federal government does not call a spade and give what Niger Delta, what belongs to the Niger Delta people, by way of we having control over our resources, the minerals in our backyard, we having control over these resources, things will not always be as they are expected to be. We know there is a great connivance between the Niger Delta, the multinationals and the federal government, but some of these issues will continue to linger if they don't take the bull by the horn. For a very long time, years, almost a decade now, the federal government made a caricature statement. In fact, the court ruling is also to that effect, I'm very sure, that all multinationals should relocate their headquarters to the Niger that are currently owned by Northerners and Westerners. That is our recommendation today. Let's focus on resource control and self-determination.